easy from Eddie Hernandez. I'm not usually one to come out here and take the spotlight away from anyone else. The reality is Midnight will be defending in the first match, so I hate to take anything away from him. But I've been hearing some apoplectic comments about my match with Lars Nightfall coming up later tonight. Now look, I know that there are a lot of people out there who don't believe that Lars Nightfall can beat me. The more pessimistic among you even say that I gave him this match because I knew it would be an easy win. These things couldn't be more untrue. I feel a responsibility to be a top-notch champion, and giving Lars a chance is part of that. As for whether he can beat me, just look at the man. I have the utmost confidence in myself. You have to get to this level. But if anyone was going to put a shred of doubt in my mind, it would be someone who looks like him. Rest assured, when I step in this ring later tonight, I will be prepared because I did all my training as if Lars was going to beat me tonight. Don't be so quick to assume. If there's one thing we know about the GAW Academy, it's that there are always surprises to be had. And Lars Nightfall is more than capable of delivering a surprise tonight. I will never be so arrogant as to believe that I can't lose any given night. And maybe tonight is the night. Well, folks, you can't say Kurt Andrews was wrong about anything he said. Coming up in our main event, Kurt Andrews, the Academy champion, will defend against Lars Nightfall, the man that Kurt specifically requested get a chance to take that belt. And I believe the champ. I don't think he is so arrogant as to believe that he will win every match he's in. So maybe we're in for a shock tonight. Well, folks, welcome officially to GAW Academy Stormchaser, coming to you live from Omaha, Nebraska. And we begin tonight with a three-way dance with the Raw Championship on the line. This is something that Jason Parker, I believe, really likes. He's booked several three-way dances for us since the end of Bash at the Beach. Of course, Omega Woods, very now famously, got his opportunity to challenge Yun-Son Park after winning a three-way dance a few weeks ago. We will be hearing from Omega Woods later on tonight. And now Midnight will get to defend his Raw Championship yet again. Midnight takes this very seriously, and you may think that, you know, his defenses are kind of a mismatched collection of matches here and there. The reality is Midnight has defended it successfully 4 times since March. In less than 2 months, that is, that he's defended it successfully. And this will be the 5th defense in less than 2 months. I mean, that is just unreal to think about. So Midnight does take this seriously, and he is defending it against anyone and everyone. It'll be 2 new challengers for that title coming tonight. Seth Woods earned his way into this match by winning a match on Dark, his debut as a singles wrestler back on GAW Dark last Wednesday. Mexican Shia, a little bit of a different road for him to get into this match, and I will let the underground legend Lancelot tell you more. I'm the one who asked for Mexican Shia to be in this match. Last week I warned him that I'll put him on these bandages again if he doesn't shape up. So what better way for him to become the Dragon of the South again than to win the Underground's title? Hopefully he was listening last week. So Lancelot specifically arranging for Mexican Shia to be in this match. Lancelot does know Jason Parker personally, and I think it's not too hard of a sell if you go talk to Midnight and ask him to put his title on the line. As we've said, Midnight is pretty receptive to challengers for this belt. You can see that this man is fearless. He will put this title up against anyone, anywhere, and Lancelot's absolutely right. This title has come to represent the underground. When you look at Lee Carr was the first man to challenge for it when Midnight unveiled the title. Igris has challenged twice, a man who was trained in the Reaper camp, probably the most well-known training academy in all of underground wrestling. And that is just the beginning. Seth Woods and Mexican Shia represent two more long tenured underground wrestlers getting their shot at the terrifying Midnight, the man with the best record in GAW. That Raw type championship is up on the line once again for the 5th time in less than 60 days. Let's see if Midnight can defend it successfully again. Let's see who's most aggressive here in this match. It looks like it might be the champion. This has been Midnight's MO ever since he brought in the Raw title. You know, a lot of people would say that introducing a new championship like this is almost a Herculean task, almost Sisyphean if you want to go that far. Of course, there is precedent in the history of pro wrestling, most famously Taz in the FTW championship. And, you know, Taz and Midnight, I think they're actually pretty similar. You know, they're both men of few words, both just absolutely terrifying when it comes to their in-ring abilities, and both of them are absolutely unbeatable. Or were in their primes anyway. So Midnight now trying to make the Raw championship legitimate, trying to make it the championship of the underground. And when you look at the three men in this ring, I think you can absolutely see exactly what Midnight intends to do. Seth Woods has spent a decade on the underground, mostly, of course, as a tag wrestler, but you know, he's come out and shown that he has some ability as a singles guy, so good for him. And Mexican Shia, as we heard Lancelot allude to, was once one of the baddest men in all of the underground. Seth Woods now pile driver onto Midnight. It's exactly what put Overload away on Wednesday. Mexican Shia thinks he can take the advantage here with Woods and Shia. Wow, knees up into the face. Midnight on the wrong end of the pile driver there by half of Woods Club. And now Mexican Shia alone in the ring with the Raw champion. This is presumably exactly what Lancelot wanted to see. And now Mexican Shia off the super kick. Not quite the Meet the Boss. He didn't quite load up for it the way he does. But Shia gonna catch Seth Woods as he goes in. Shin breaker, hangs on, dragon screw. Maybe that motivation from Lancelot is doing a little bit here for Mexican Shia. Shia has Seth Woods up, ticket to the underground. Absolutely brutal, and now Shia to notch an elimination here on Seth Woods, and Seth Woods is out. Mexican Shia eliminates Seth Woods. Maybe there is something here for Shia. The way that Lancelot said there would be. Up onto the top he goes, and Midnight unloads with the right. And now Mexican Shia, he just delivered Seth Woods a ticket to the underground. Midnight giving him a ticket to the outside with a superplex. Midnight and Shia alone. This is what Lancelot wanted to see, but Midnight flattens Shia with that spinning kick. Midnight does his homework, and you know he watches the current world champion. Aleister Black, of course, calls out the Black Mass, but Mexican Shia answers, meet the boss. And Shia might try to follow it up with another one. Shia, another meet the boss. Where has this version of Mexican Shia been all along? This is exactly what Lancelot said he wanted to see. From the Dragon of the South into the ring goes Midnight, and now Shia going up top. Twice he's hit the Meet the Boss and an elbow drop. Mexican Shia, surely we have ourselves a new champion. No. Midnight kicks out. 2 meet the bosses in an elbow drop, and now Midnight pulls him back. Backbreaker. This is the essence of the Raw champion. This is what he's been. Midnight, oh my God, a knee finds its mark on the solar plexus of Mexican Shia. And now Midnight loads up with a super kick. Midnight drops Mexican Shia with his own Meet the Boss. And now Midnight maybe looking for the sleepwalker on the outside. Thank God Mexican Shia made his way out of that. That could end a career. Although Midnight, he didn't get that boot to the gut, so I don't think that's what it was. And Midnight, oh, this has become a little bit of a regular occurrence in his matches. Tribute to the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, a man that Midnight idolized growing up. Midnight, just 26 years old. He was around for the tail end of Dusty Rhodes' in-ring career. Midnight says he learned so much about being a professional, being grateful from Dusty Rhodes. And now Mexican Shia, he's trying to bring in an equalizer. He's got himself a ladder. Midnight, though, he's going to try to stop him from using that. Both men just trying to throw strikes, Midnight trying to get Shia away from that ladder, and Midnight rising knee strike. Midnight doesn't want anything to do with a weapon like that. He wants to show Mexican Shia that he is the better wrestler, plain and simple. Shia feels like he may need an advantage here, but Shia gets Midnight up, and the Raw champion stops that from happening. Elbow turns around Shia. Midnight unloading with the strikes, rolling soul butt. Another strike and a high kick. My God. This is what underground wrestling is about. You've heard us talk about it so much in GAW. Underground wrestling, it's all about versatility. It's all about unpredictability. No one embodies that as much as Midnight. There is literally nothing this man can't do. Shia sends him back into the ring, and now Shia turns around, maybe thinking about bringing that ladder back in. I think Shia knows that this is the kind of thing that he needs in order to beat the Raw champion. Midnight has been unbeatable up to this point. So Shia is thinking, maybe there's something I can do, and now Shia, shin breaker. And a cover here. Midnight's feet underneath the ropes, but it doesn't matter. No DQ, Midnight kicks out anyway. Mexican Shia maybe thinking he's got an opportunity right now, and Shia, running start for the Shining Wizard. Maybe Shia has been motivated by Lancelot. Lancelot, a legend of the underground, and now Shia cover, another kick out. Will Lancelot himself maybe come for the title that has become synonymous with underground wrestling? We'll have to see, but for now, it's the man that Lancelot says he wants to see him in this kind of situation. Another cover here from Shia and another kick out. Maybe the Dragon of the South starting to get a little desperate here, sensing that he may not have much left to give with Midnight at this point. Over to the ropes, and Shia sends the champ out of the ring. This fight has gone every which way right now. Absolutely unpredictable, like so many underground matches are, but under the table he goes, and Mexican Shia, he's got him head first onto the announce table. Midnight stays on his feet. Midnight somehow stays on his feet, and oh! Face breaker. Mexican Shia, he may be regretting making this decision, and he might regret it even more. Midnight trying to go for a big drop kick, but Shia caught him in the act. Shia, meet the boss. A third one. All three of them, however, have come on the outside, and Midnight answers with a lariat. That meet the boss is not doing any good right now to Mexican Shia. Shia to his feet, and Midnight, wow, look at that. Drop kick finds its mark. Bridge of the nose, and Midnight's not done. Maybe looking for again Sleepwalker, but Shia just too fast. Caught the boot And again, it's a good thing he did. Careers could end with a sleepwalker on the outside like that. Midnight, that flurry of strikes. Shia has no answer when Midnight starts dipping into the striking game. And again, that's what underground wrestling is about. Midnight drops him with a face breaker and both men are down. This match has taken so much out of each of them, and I would go so far as to say that this might be Midnight's toughest defense yet. He fought Igris twice, once at Bash at the Beach, and that was a crazy match up to his feet. Again goes Shia and Midnight. Midnight, oh my God, Midnight. No, don't do it, Sleepwalker. Oh my God. Sleepwalker on the outside. Sleepwalker on the outside. I don't know how Shia is still moving, to be honest with you. Unbelievable. Shia to answer. Code Red. I think just out of pure desperation, that adrenaline has just coursed into Mexican Shia, and he's just, this is fight or flight, and apparently Mexican Shia is a fighter. Midnight with a sleepwalker on the outside. Midnight trying to go for that super kick. Shia sidesteps. And now Shia, maybe thinking Northern Lights, but Midnight too strong. This match has to be won in the ring, so at some point, somebody's got to think about getting the other man inside the squared circle. Enough damage has been done now, and the sleepwalker on the outside. I cannot believe that Mexican Shia is still standing. But again, it's that fight or flight, that adrenaline rush. And now Shia, double underhooks in. Shia, ooh! Face breaker. You can hear the fans not really loving the strategy of Mexican Shia right now. The fans have really warmed up to Midnight after he has taken this championship so seriously. Fans really respect when a guy, takes things seriously and is professional, and Midnight certainly is that. Midnight hoists him up again. Sleepwalker again. And that has to be it. That has to be it for Mexican Shia. Midnight sends him into the corner post for good measure. But certainly Shia's got to be out right now. Midnight at this point just punishing Mexican Shia. Into the ring he goes. And Midnight, two sleepwalkers on the outside, admires his handiwork. Midnight rolls him over. Cover. Midnight retains the Raw Championship. Wow. What a match and what a fight by Mexican Shia. Shia eliminates Seth Woods. And Shia, 3 meet the bosses on the outside. Midnight gives him a receipt for 1, and then Midnight, 2 sleepwalkers on the outside. And Midnight retains the Raw Championship. He is bloodied, he is bruised. I doubt he's even going to be able to get out of bed in the morning, but it doesn't matter. Midnight retains the Raw Championship for the 5th consecutive time in less than 60 days. That is unbelievable when you think about that. Folks, we got, or more accurately, Nick Gray got the opportunity to sit down with La Tortuga Roja after the events of last week's Stormchaser. Let's see how that went. I feel like a broken record now. I know Flyboy did what he did last week. I know why. I know that he feels anger at himself and the world, that he hasn't accomplished what he feels he's earned. My old student was the same. And Flyboy saw me as an easy target to show the world he should be feared. And I can't blame him for that. I'd attack me too. It's well known that you're one of the most helpful men in GAW in terms of training and mentoring younger wrestlers. So, I mean, do you feel betrayed in any way by first Jackal and now Flyboy? I think I took certain things for granted. There's a cultural difference, certainly. Respect for elders is ingrained in Mexican culture, and I think it's a generational difference as well. My generation wouldn't expect help from older people, so if we got it was like getting a car as a birthday present. So it's different now, and I learned that the hard way. So what do you plan to do now? Well, I'm not going to change things about me. If I have to take a few more shots in the ring, then so be it. But I believe in passing on the things I've learned. If some people are ungrateful, that they have that right. But I believe I can still help people, and that really, that's what the Lucha Libre culture is all about. And I take a lot of pride in that. You know what, folks? All the credit goes to La Tortuga Roja. The man is as humble as you will ever see, and the fact that he says that even if things like what happened last week happen again, he would still try to mentor the next generation, try to help people, because that's part of his culture and that's who he is as a human being. I think that says so much about him, and the fact that men like Jackal and Flyboy have stolen the spotlight that should be on La Tortuga Roja, given the human being that he is, to me is kind of gross.
How did you find a way to run from the city of the sun? You could have stayed, it's only over when the day.
Andrew Wesley and Frankie Omega have certainly made a name for themselves, but they have a different task ahead of them here with Steffer Drummond and Scott Danielson. This is kind of a makeshift team that came about as a result of the reactivated tag team championships that the Titans wound up winning. But Drummond and Danielson, they formed thinking that maybe they would, maybe they would shock some people, and instead it's actually been the combination of Andrew Wesley and Frankie Omega that has shocked some people in terms of how quickly the team has gelled. But Drummond and Danielson still keeping those tag team hopes alive. Let's see what they can do against the two stellar singles competitors turned into an even more stellar tag team. Andrew Wesley to start things off for his team, and Steffer Drummond gets the start in a pullback snap power slam to start things off for Osha's least favorite son. Steffer Drummond has been on the outside looking in, but certainly he has shown that he has boatloads of ability. It's all about just putting it together. He famously pushed Eddie Hernandez to the limit in the Stormchaser tournament, took Derek Cole to his limit on Cole's debut, and of course now we know that Cole is one of the prized prospects in General Admission Wrestling. Scott Danielson with a reverse suplex over the top. That's what this team has come to be known for. Not exactly legal tactics, but I suppose if the referee lets it go, then it's all legal, isn't it? Andrew Wesley just trying to fight back here as Steffer Drummond and Scott Danielson have taken it to him early on. This would be the biggest win of Drummond and Danielson's time as a team for sure. Meanwhile, Wesley and Omega, they probably have designs on being the next challengers to the Titans Tag Team Championships. We haven't seen anything from War after the Titans beat them at Bash at the Beach. So you wonder if Wesley and Omega feel like the door might be open for them right now. Wesley to his feet, Drummond back into the ring, and Wesley beautifully done to roll through, has the leg trapped, and Wesley corkscrew on the knee. Wesley and Omega have gelled so well as a team. We keep talking about how impressive it is that two singles guys can become so adept at tag team wrestling so quickly, but it will never cease to impress me. And now Andrew Wesley doing what I think is the smart thing and just taking a little bit of time here after being reverse suplexed from the ring to the outside. Wesley just needs a little bit of time for to probably regain feeling in his arms and legs and get a little bit of a breather, and now he's coming out hot. Steffer Drummond trying to come back, and Drummond with a head scissors. Steffer Drummond, look at that. Not exactly what you'd expect to see from Stefford Drummond, but he shocked Andrew Wesley, and now in comes the arm collector, and he's caught with a sling blade. Stefford Drummond showing exactly why he is still so respected as an in-ring competitor, even if his attitude doesn't really match. Up to his feet goes Omega, and Stefford Drummond sends him up over the top. Drummond unloads with the right. We've seen a whole lot of brawling on the outside tonight. I think a lot of people just oh my God, Frankie Omega. Power bomb. I think a lot of guys feel like tonight they need any advantage they can get. And the unforgiving outside area is a pretty good place to get it. Andrew Wesley back up onto the apron. Omega still battling with Drummond here on the outside. Scott Danielson has yet to be tagged in, and that doesn't mean that he hasn't been involved in some way. Omega now taking Stefford Drummond, and back into the ring he goes. You know, this has got to be a big opportunity for either team. We haven't seen a whole lot of tag team action on Stormchaser, and I think a big part of that is because the Titans, by reinstating the Titans rules, a lot of teams feel like it's not worth even trying to compete right now. When Leiter was part of the original Titans, the Titans rules helped him and partner Will Hobbs hold the tag team championships for over 600 days. So I think a lot of teams are seeing this and going, you know what? I don't want any part of this. I'll have more success in the singles arena. Stefford Drummond now targeting the face of Frankie Omega. Drummond, how good has he been in this match? I can't say anything about his attitude and his motivation, but I'll tell you what, his in-ring skill is there. Into the corner goes Frankie Omega, and Drummond comes in, electing not to take the tag to partner Scott Danielson. Here's another tag. Wesley comes in. More frequent tags from Wesley and Omega, but Stefford Drummond with an inverted snap power slam. Drummond has been unstoppable tonight. Does Andrew Wesley have an answer? Drummond catches him from behind once again, and Drummond lays him out. Face breaker. And now Stefford Drummond hoists him up. Drummond, we know this one all too well. We've seen it so many times. Stefford Drummond, life's not fair. How many times have we seen that one? And now for the first time, here comes the tag. Scott Danielson into the match for the first time. Stefford Drummond put in one hell of a shift in the first 5 minutes and change in this match. Andrew Wesley, you feel like he might smell blood in the water here against Scott Danielson, and immediately he takes the upper hand. Drummond now might regret bringing in Danielson the way Drummond was performing. Wesley running wild right now against Danielson, and now Wesley into the redemption. Wesley wrenching back, and he's got those feet hooked deep. Danielson's barely been in the match for 30 seconds. He might be forced to tap out. Danielson able to roll it over. Breaks the hold, and Frankie Omega not going to touch him there. That's some good restraint there from Omega, and Andrew Wesley on the return gets the kick, and Danielson, look at his head, bounced against that bottom rope. Very awkward position, and suddenly Wesley and Omega have the advantage in this match. Danielson looking for a modified suplex, but Andrew Wesley too quick for him. Right now, you feel like these two men have the advantage after Stefford Drummond ran wild the first time, and Wesley pops him up, pop-up Meteora. That's exactly how we saw them win their last match. Frankie Omega into the cover. Drummond's not going to bother to break it up, so Wesley and Omega get the win. I think Drummond is pissed. I think he feels like he dominated the first 5.5 minutes of this match. He tags in Danielson, and a minute and a half later, Danielson gets pinned. I think Stefford Drummond feels like he's been slighted in this match. I'm not saying that's the right reaction, but he does have a point. He was dominating. He tags in Scott Danielson, and there is the pop-up Meteora. Danielson's night is over. Wesley and Omega continue to impress as a tag team. Folks backstage, Flyboy infamously went for the low blow on La Tortuga Roja last week. Now here he is responding. Why did I mash Roja's grapefruits into pulp last week? Because I am tired of being looked down on. Roja treated me like a young boy, trying to show me things that he knew, as if what worked for him against El Terrible Wrestler 17 in 1983 is at all relevant to me. But it's not just him. I gave a bit of my time in Sydney for an interview, and I get treated like a child. Ooh, do you know this person who grew up 500 miles away from you in a country of 25 million people? I've had enough. Growing up, I believed that my accent made me different and worse. I thought laughing along was the way to fit in. But I don't want to fit in. I want to dominate. I am ready to dominate. I, right now, am out to kill. That was as slimy a response as I could have expected from Flyboy given his actions. Folks, coming up next in our main event, the Academy champion Kurt Andrews puts his title on the line against Lars Nightfall, the second title match tonight. But before that, Yun-Son Park challenged Omega Woods. He said, anything you want, I will give it to you. Just tell me what it is. Now, Omega Woods has come up with a response. Let's hear it. I will give Omega Woods what he wants, whatever he wants. Woods Gunslinger! I'll give you credit, Haas. You did your homework. I got nothing to live for. I got no family. He's right about all of that. But I find when you got no one to worry about, you can throw everything into improving yourself. See, what Park doesn't know is I had a family once. I had parents. I had a wife. They went away, just like all people do eventually. But passion, drive, work ethic, those things don't go away. So what do I want now? I want to make my mark. I don't want to wait. So I took it right to the one man who I could make an example of. The legend, the first person from this place anyone ever knew. Yun-Son Park was the first man in the first generation of global stars to come from the GAW Academy. I am going to be the first in the next generation, and I'm going to do it by putting down my predecessor. That's what I want from you, Yun-Son Park. That's all I want. To put you down, partner. It's hard not to feel like so much is happening right now with the GAW Academy and Omega Woods calling out Yun-Son Park. And if you want to take it straight to the top, that's the way to do it. Yun-Son Park, one of the most recognizable faces in the GAW Academy. The man who won the GAW Cruiserweight Championship in his first night on what was then the main roster. And Omega Woods has taken it straight to him. But we got to take our attention straight to this match. Kurt Andrews said to never underestimate Lars Nightfall. He said that a man the size of Nightfall with the look of Nightfall, this man could win the title at any time. And now Lars Nightfall, after having been brought in personally by Eddie Hernandez, is here fighting for the Academy title. I'm not sure that I would have expected Nightfall to be in this position so fast, but obviously when you look at the man and when you see the way that he wrestles, you can tell that he had greatness written all over him from the start. A street fight against Overload, one of the most brutal matches that we've seen this year. Certainly the most brutal match in GAW up to that point. Nightfall came out on top, and now here he is challenging the Academy champion himself. Kurt Andrews, for many of us, myself included, was our first introduction to the world of underground wrestling. When Andrews joined the Academy, he quickly picked up championship victories in 2 different underground promotions, PPW and XPW. And it was during the Stormchaser tournament, he had those belts with him and he said, I'm going to stop coming out with these titles. My goal is to win gold in general admission wrestling, and that is all I care about. And less than 3 months later, Andrews accomplished that. Beat Garrett Gibson for the Academy Championship, and now has been holding it proudly ever since. Defended it at Bash at the Beach against Oliver Parker. Parker, who has not been seen since Lee Carr came back and attacked him on Bash at the Beach, or at Bash at the Beach rather, and Kurt Andrews, again, he said his goal this whole time was to win gold here. That anything he did in the underground, he's proud of, but it doesn't compare to being a champion here. And when you look at the reverence that he gives that title, the way that he treats it, you can say that he lives by that he is a man of his word. Kurt Andrews to defend the Academy Championship against the terrifying Lars Nightfall. It all goes down in our main event right now. I cannot wait to see this. This is a classic matchup, power versus speed. Kurt Andrews, one of the most talented athletes in all of GAW. Lars Nightfall, just an unstoppable powerhouse. How will Kurt Andrews approach a match like this? You saw early on Lars Nightfall was just shaking off any attack that Kurt Andrews had. So Andrews, a man who is so well known for pushing the pace, for being quicker than anyone else in the ring, now the Academy champion, may have to rethink his strategy a little bit. Before we get any deeper into what promises to be an incredible match, we got to go back to the office where Jason Parker, as he so often does, will reveal to us our main event for next week. Jason, please take it away. I'm not going to talk any longer than I have to. I want to watch every second of this match, as I'm sure you all do as well. Look, Lancelot's been doing a lot of talking lately, and he did come to me to ask to put Mexican Shia in that match earlier. I let him do it, but he's going to have to prove that he's still got it. So next week, it'll be Lancelot versus a man that he's very familiar with, Frankie Omega. Jason, thank you so much, and I certainly look forward to next week. Lancelot back in action, and after his words to Mexican Shia, I am excited to see Lancelot back it up, going against Frankie Omega, the man who just picked up a tag victory earlier on. Lars Nightfall with a crossbody, my God. Just cutting Kurt Andrews in half. Nightfall gets him up under the shoulders, but Andrews uses that quickness. There's the athleticism of the Buccaneer, the Academy champ. This is what he does so well, and now Andrews into the drop kick. Beautiful, and a second one. Look at the height. Lars Nightfall is 6'7". Kurt Andrews with a running crossbody nearly jumped over him. The vertical leap of Kurt Andrews, almost unreal. Andrews baits him in. Failed mutiny. The world champion has turned up the pace, and Andrews with the leg hooked. Kurt Andrews, no. Nightfall kicks out. This is what the world champion does. He turns up the pace. And Nightfall now. Nightfall's got to figure out how he's going to respond to a man who absolutely runs wild. Andrews. Up top he goes. We saw him win the title with a top rope move. It was a Phoenix Splash that won him the Academy Championship. And now Andrews from the top. Andrews comes down, Dragon Rana. Can you find a better athlete right now than Kurt Andrews, the Academy Champion? Andrews, boot to the gut. Andrews, he's gonna attempt this. Nightfall's 300 pounds. Andrews tried to get him up for Eye of the Storm, and Lars Nightfall not having any of it. Alabama slam. And now Lars Nightfall using that power. Nightfall gets him up. Tombstone pile driver. That unbelievable power of Lars Nightfall now has him in the driver's seat, looking for Nightmare, and Kurt Andrews, beautiful arm drag. This is what the Academy Champion does. Andrews backslide driver. How good is our Academy Champion? I could watch Kurt Andrews wrestle all day, because this is what he can do to anyone. If he can do this to a 300-pounder, that tells you everything about who Kurt Andrews is, what he's like as a wrestler. Double underhooks in. Andrews, that is 300 pounds. Eye of the Storm. Andrews, the Academy Champion, just dropped a 300-pounder, and Kurt Andrews retains. Kurt Andrews retains the championship. What a match. Lars Nightfall gave him everything, but Kurt Andrews is just too quick, too athletic, too strong. The Buccaneer retains the Academy Championship. Wow, what a match. What a match. Here is another look at the Eye of the Storm from Kurt Andrews to retain his Academy Championship. And he does it with such beauty. Kurt Andrews. Is there a more deserving champion right now? Is there a man who is more and this Flyboy's out here. We just saw him earlier on. Flyboy into the ring he goes. Andrews, you know that his radar's up right now. What is Flyboy going to do? Look at these two men. I never thought that I would see something like this. Staring daggers into the Academy Champion. What is to come next, folks? You'll have to subscribe so you can find out. Thank you so much for joining us here on GAW Academy Stormchaser. We appreciate you.